Alright, today we're going to go over how to make your medallion mold. So as you know, you've machined out, we drew up on Mastercam a pattern. We've machined those out, and now we have our wax pattern, not to be used for lost wax casting, but as a physical pattern for sand, and we're using the precision sand method, sodium silicate. We're going to coat our sand with the sodium silicate, and we're going to make our molds. We have a drag mold replicated off of the pattern, and then we have two new options in our coat molds. I'm going to show you both the traditional sand coat that we use at the top, and then our new method for a metal mold. So we start off by taking our unit of sand, putting it into our mixer. This is Nevada sand, 120 mesh. Comes out of Nevada, that's why it's called Nevada sand. And so we put in our sodium silicate, and as you remember, sodium silicate, water class, it is defined as GRAS, or GRAS by the FDA, meaning that it is generally regarded as safe to be around food. So when you buy a hard-boiled egg at the store, it's typically coated with sodium silicate to keep it fresh. It's used as an adhesive in food packages and as a coating in food packages. So it's an environmentally benign binder, and it's great to use in a laboratory setting. So I'm mixing up my sand. You notice I'm using a KitchenAid. The adults would use a Hobart, bigger, higher quality system than what we have here. The main mistake we make at this point is that we don't mix it well enough. So we want to make sure we're going as fast as we can. And I've stopped a couple of times to try to dig any dead sand in an area off the bottom that might not be mixing. But the main mistake we make here is not mixing it adequately. Alright, we're probably good here. I'm going to take this then, clean the mixer blade, take my sand and put it in containers. Clean out my bowl so that the next group can use it. Close that off because that will set up with the CO2 in the air as we exhale. Once the pH level drops below 11.2, the sodium silicate will gel. And so what we're going to do here is take our pattern, put it in our little holder, put some baby powder on it, and we're going to make two drag molds. And we're also going to make one cope mold. I have two rings that I've cut. We'll see why in a minute. And so I'll set this in place. I've got them powdered. I'm going to take my sand and I'm going to tuck it in. What this means is you're pushing down with your fingers, straight down, not patting it, you're putting it down. You want to make sure it goes against all the details of our sand, of our pattern. Once again, we're using a wax, machinable wax pattern, but not in a lost wax foundry process, but as a physical pattern. So, I've got this in here. I'm going to just do a light ram around there. I don't want to beat the heck out of it. Covering back up my sand. I'll come in now and I'll scrape this flat. And then I've got this fancy CO2 application system made from 4x2 no-hub adapters. I'm going to come in there and at about 30 psi for a count of 3. I'm going to gas it. Once again, the CO2 is acidifying the binder, takes it below the 11.2 pH threshold, and causes it to kick. It's a reversible process, meaning that it's water soluble. I can now take this, open this up, find my little gap in the ABS, which is in here somewhere. Oh, there we are. Take that off, pull my pattern straight up, and now I have the pattern. So I've got that one there. I do the same here. This time I can see where it separates easier. Pull that up. Take this up. I have my second one. And then the cope for the... Then I'm going to take it over to a secondary drying device that I have over here. Put that in. And I'll let that go for about 2 minutes. Okay, let's stop that at this point. Alright, so we're ready to pour our medallions. We're going to have you, if you have 2 or 3, make sure that you pour them in a batch, so that I don't want you getting dressed, pouring one, getting out of the casting outfit, coming back and doing that. It's inefficient. So here I have 3 molds that we have ready to go. I'm going to take them over here and set up. Well, actually, I have to do it over here a little bit. First of all, I want to brush off any loose sand. Hold it vertically and just gently brush it. Not too hard, but just want to get the loose sand from the face and from the inside. If you brush horizontally, you're just pushing it around. So I brush that, set it down. Take the next one up, come up, brush it, set it down. Take the next one, I'm not sure I'm doing that in order. Brush it, set it down. Now we assume everything in here is hot, because once we start pouring in these rings, they're going to be hot. But I know I have these plates here that are cold. I'm going to take them, and these are shaped. So this is sort of like a semi-permanent mold, and that part of the mold is metal, part of it is or sand mold. So these are shaped so they have small holes and large holes. The purpose here is that you'll see that when we have our sprue button here and we go to whack it off, it'll break at the small hole size just like a tensile bar. So we're going to come in here and just tap that once or twice, 3 times a little bit with a baby powder and set it on our drag. We want to make sure these are relatively dry. And they are. So we'll set those down. And we'll change them out. So we're going to come in and put on our rings. Now we're ready. Do this. We're going to move the stream over. We don't stop pouring. Otherwise it'll freeze off. We want to pour quick and fast into that hole, but we do not want to overfill that, because if we overfill it, then it's going to create a mechanical linkage and it's going to be harder, much harder to break it off. Up close, go ahead and fill it. Stop. I follow back up. I straighten up. I come. Get over here. Get in position. Yep. Pour it in quickly. Get in position. Pour it in quickly. We pour 2. If we have more, we go back and get more metal. Come back in here. Now to put this back into the furnace, I turn this 90 degrees, put my thumb here, finger here, and use this as a block against splashing. So I'll come here and go like that. So here's how we break these out. If you haven't over poured it, we can just separate this easily. They're hot, so we're going to grab them with our tongs, put them off to the side. We're going to get tongs from the dip tank. We'll grab it, lift it up, and one came out pretty good. We'll come over here. We want to make sure that sprue button is cold to the touch. So just like that, not cold enough. So we're going to swirl this around. Doesn't take much time. We're good. This is how we break them out. We're going to take this, which is cold, put it in our slot, hold this with our pliers, take your hammer, whack it off. And we'll want to dry that. Now this has some little buttons on the bottom. That's our gates. We're going to go to the sanders. And sand. back of it off. I didn't take it all the way down because it's the demo. And then we'll sand around the edge if necessary. If you want, you can bead blast it. And then we have these cork circles with an adhesive back. They're used to apply here, and then if it sticks out a little bit, you can just hit that with a sander and you get a nice covered bottom of those gates. Okay? Thanks for coming by.